Hi guys, for today's video we're going to be talking about Hillary Clinton. Hillary Diane Clinton was born Hillary Diane Rodham on October 26, 1947 in Chicago, Illinois. She was raised in Park Ridge. Hillary was the eldest daughter of Hugh Rodham, a prosperous fabric store owner, and Dorothy Emma Howell Rodham, and she has two younger brothers, Hugh and Anthony. As a young woman, Hillary was active in young Republican groups and campaigned for Republican presidential nominee Barry Goldwater in 1964. She was inspired to work in public service after hearing a speech in Chicago by the Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. and became a Democrat in 1968. Rodham attended Wellesley College, where she was active in student politics and elected senior class president before graduating in 1969. She then attended Yale Law School, where she met Bill Clinton. Graduating with honors in 1973, she went on to enroll at Yale Child Study Center, where she took courses on children and medicine and completed one postgraduate year of study. Clinton worked at various jobs during her summers as a college student. In 1971, she first came to Washington, D.C. to work on U.S. Senator Walter Mondale's subcommittee on migrant workers. In the summer of 1972, she worked in the western states for the campaign of Democratic presidential nominee George McGovern. In the spring of 1974, Rodham became a member of the Presidential Impeachment Inquiry staff, advising the Judiciary Committee of the House of Representatives during the Watergate scandal. Chief Counsel Jerry Zifman would later contend that he fired Clinton from the committee for what he deemed as unethical professional behavior connected to Nixon's due process. These allegations have been contradicted by other media sources that deny Zifman's authority over the young attorney at the time, with no comment from Clinton herself. After President Richard M. Nixon resigned in August, she became a faculty member of the University of Arkansas Law School in Fayetteville, where her Yale Law School classmate and boyfriend Bill Clinton was teaching as well. Hillary married Bill Clinton on October 11, 1975, at their home in Fayetteville. Before he proposed marriage, Clinton had secretly purchased a small house that she had remarked that she liked. When he proposed marriage to her and she accepted, he revealed that they owned the house. Their daughter, Chelsea Victoria, was born on February 27, 1980. In 1976, Hillary worked on Jimmy Carter's successful campaign for president while husband Bill was elected Attorney General. Bill Clinton was elected governor in 1978 at age 32, lost re-election in 1980, but came back to win in 1982, 84, 86, and 1990. Hillary joined the Rose Law Firm in Little Rock and in 1977 was appointed to part-time chairman of Legal Services Corporation by President Carter. As First Lady of the state for a dozen years, she chaired the Arkansas Educational Standards Committee, co-founded the Arkansas Advocates for Children and Families, and served on the boards of the Arkansas Children's Hospital. She also served on the boards of TCBY and Walmart. In 1988 and 1991, the National Law Journal named her one of the 100 most powerful lawyers in America. During Bill Clinton's 1992 presidential campaign, Hillary emerged as a dynamic and valued partner of her husband, and as president, he named her to head the Task Force of National Health Reform in 1993. The controversial commission produced a complicated plan which never came to the floor of either house, and it was abandoned in September of 1994. During this period, she and her husband invested in the Whitewater real estate project. The project's Bank Morgan Guarantee Savings alone failed, costing the federal government $73 million. Whitewater later became the subject of congressional hearings and an independent counsel investigation. In 1998, the White House indulged in the Monica Lewinsky sex scandal. Though she publicly supported her husband, Mrs. Clinton reportedly considered leaving her marriage. He was impeached, but the U.S. Senate failed to convict and he remained in office. In 1999, Clinton decided that she would seek the U.S. Senate seat from New York, held by Daniel Patrick Moynihan, who was retiring after 4 terms. Despite early problems and charges of carpetbagging, Clinton beat popular Republican Rick Lazio by a surprisingly wide margin, 55% to 43%. Clinton became the first wife of the president to seek and win public office and the first woman to be elected to the U.S. Senate from New York. She easily won re-election in November 2006. In early 2007, Clinton announced her plans to strive for another list, to be the first female president. During the 2008 Democratic primary, Senator Clinton conceded the nomination when it became apparent that nominee Barack Obama had a majority of the delegate vote. When Clinton suspended her campaign, she made a speech to her supporters. Shortly after winning the U.S. presidential election, Obama nominated Hillary Clinton as Secretary of State. She accepted the nomination and was officially approved as the 67th U.S. Secretary of State by the Senate on January 21, 2009. During her term, Clinton used her position to make women's rights and human rights a central talking point of the U.S. initiatives. She became one of the most traveled secretaries of state in American history and promoted the use of social media to convey the country's positions. She also led U.S. diplomatic efforts in connection to the Arab Spring and military interventions in Libya. The State Department under Clinton's leadership came under investigation after a deadly attack on a U.S. diplomatic post in Benghazi, Libya, killed U.S. Ambassador Christopher Stevens and 3 others on September 11, 2012. An independent panel issued a report about the Benghazi attack, which found systematic failures in leadership and management deficiencies at the State Department. Clinton, who said that she took responsibility for security at the outpost in Benghazi, was scheduled to testify about the attack before Congress in December of 2012. She canceled her scheduled testimony, however, citing a stomach virus and later a concussion that she suffered after fainting, which the cause of was reported as dehydration. Some members of Congress questioned the timing of Clinton's illnesses, including Representative Allen West, who stated that he believed the Secretary of State was suffering from a case of Benghazi flu on the date that she was scheduled to testify. On December 30th, 2012, Clinton was hospitalized with a blood clot related to the concussion that she had suffered earlier in the month. She was released from a New York hospital on January 2nd, 2013 after receiving treatment, and as soon as she recovered, she returned to work. Clinton testified about the Benghazi attack on January 23, 2013. Speaking to members of the House Foreign Relations Committee, she defended her actions while taking full responsibility for the incident, which killed 4 American citizens. Since taking office in 2009, Clinton repeatedly stated over the years that she was only interested in serving one term as Secretary of State. She officially stepped down from her post on February 1, 2013. In May of 2014, the House Select Committee on Benghazi, chaired by Representative Trey Gowdy from South Carolina, was created to investigate the Benghazi attack. Clinton testified in front of the committee on October 22, 2015 in a nearly 11-hour hearing. The House Select Committee on Benghazi issued its final report on June 28, 2016. The just over 800-page report found no new evidence of wrongdoing on Clinton's part, but was critical of government agencies like the Defense Department, the Central Intelligence Agency, and the State Department, and the officials who led them. This was according to the New York Times. The Democrats on the committee issued their own 339-page minority report that criticized Republicans for one of the longest and most partisan congressional investigations in history that took 2 years to complete and cost $7 million in taxpayer funds. In 2010, Clinton's daughter Chelsea married former Goldman Sachs investment banker and current hedge fund manager Mark Mezvinsky. On September 26, 2014, Clinton became a first-time grandmother when daughter Chelsea gave birth to Charlotte Clinton Mezvinsky. Chelsea gave birth to her second child, Aiden, on June 18, 2016. In June 2014, Clinton released Hard Choices, a memoir published by Simon & Schuster, which rose to number 1 on the New York Times bestseller list. The following year, in early March of 2015, Clinton faced controversy and criticism when it was revealed that she had used her personal email address to handle official government business during her time as Secretary of State. In a news conference held at the United Nations, speaking initially on gender equality and the political situation in Iran, Clinton stated that she had utilized her personal email for convenience as allowed by State Department protocol. She later turned over all governmental correspondence to the Obama administration while deleting messages that could be construed as personal. After much speculation and assumptions over whether Clinton would run for the U.S. presidency, her plans were made official in the spring of 2015. On April 12, Clinton's campaign chairperson John D. Podesta announced via email that the former Secretary of State was entering the race to secure the Democratic presidential nomination for the 2016 elections. This was immediately followed by an online campaign clip with Clinton announcing herself that she was running for president. On her campaign site, Clinton addresses a wide variety of issues she believes in, among them lowering student debt, criminal justice reform, campaign finance reform, improving the healthcare coverage and costs of the Affordable Care Act, also known as Obamacare, and women's rights. However, she is also known for changing her stances on various hot-button issues such as gay marriage. She now supports it, she didn't before. And trade deals, now she is against the Trans-Pacific Partnership. In regards to the environment, Clinton has a plan to combat climate change, but has been questioned by environmental activists for supporting fracking. She is also in support of the death penalty, but claims it should be implemented in exceptional cases. In May 2016, the State Department issued a statement regarding Clinton's ongoing email scandal, in which she exclusively used a private server while serving as Secretary of State. The department criticized her for not seeking permission to use the server, and also stated it would not have been approved if she had. The 79-page report, along with a separate FBI investigation and other legal matters that involved her private email account, has exasperated Clinton's controversial political reputation and been fodder for Republican officials. After a year-long FBI investigation of Clinton's email practices while she was a Secretary of State, FBI Director James B. Comey announced on July 5, 2016 that the agency would not recommend criminal charges against Clinton. The following day, Attorney General Loretta Lynch released a statement saying that she would accept the FBI's recommendation and Clinton would not be charged in the case. Clinton's email troubles resurfaced on October 28, 2016, when Comey revealed in a letter to Congress that while investigating disgraced former Congressman Anthony Weiner for texts that he had sent to a 15-year-old girl, law enforcement officials had found emails that appeared to be pertinent to the closed investigation of Clinton's use of a personal email server. The emails were reportedly sent by Huma Abedin, Weiner's wife and Clinton's top aide, to Clinton's personal server, but the content of the emails was unknown. The timing of Comey's letter just 11 days before the election was unprecedented, and critics called for the FBI to release more information. A bipartisan group of almost 100 former federal prosecutors and Justice Department officials also signed a letter criticizing Comey. On November 6, just 2 days before the election, Comey wrote another letter to Congress stating that Clinton should not face criminal charges after a review of the new emails. On June 6, 2016, Clinton was hailed as the presumptive presidential nominee for the Democratic Party and the first woman in the United States' 240-year history to top the presidential ticket of a major U.S. political party. The assessment was based on Clinton's winning the support of a combination of pledged delegates and superdelegates needed to win the nomination. On June 7th, the night of the final Super Tuesday primary, Clinton delivered a speech from the Brooklyn Navy Yard, acknowledging the historic achievement. It was 8 years to the day that she had conceded her loss to Barack Obama in the 2008 presidential race. Clinton also acknowledged the impact of her Democratic opponent Bernie Sanders' campaign. She also addressed the campaign of Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump, whom she called temperamentally unfit to be president and commander-in-chief. On July 12, 2016, just 2 weeks before the Democratic National Convention in Philadelphia, Bernie Sanders endorsed Clinton at a rally in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. Clinton acknowledged the contribution Sanders and his supporters made to the presidential race and the political process. On July 22, 2016, Clinton announced via text message to her supporters that she had selected Tim Kaine, a Virginia senator and former Virginia governor and mayor, as her vice presidential running mate. She also tweeted the same announcement. In July of 2016, on the eve of the Democratic National Convention in Philadelphia, WikiLeaks published over 19,000 DNC emails that revealed how officials seemingly favored Clinton over Sanders and sought to undermine his campaign. The leak also showed the bitter tension between DNC Chair Debbie Wasserman Schultz and Sanders' campaign manager Jeff Weaver, the collusion between the DNC and the media, and the ways in which officials persuaded big money donors. As a result of the leak, Wasserman Schultz announced that he would not be speaking at the convention and he would step down as DNC chair. During this time, an FBI investigation was underway to discover who was responsible for the leaks, although intelligence was already pointing to Russia being behind the cyber attacks. The release of the emails by WikiLeaks during the Democratic National Convention was a blow to what party officials had hoped would be a time to unify and energize their base of supporters. The scandal reinvigorated the ire of the Bernie Sanders' supporters, many of whom felt the DNC had rigged the election for Clinton from the start. Nonetheless, even amid protests, Clinton received an array of support from political allies, delegates, celebrities, and everyday citizens in a series of convention speeches, including Barack and Michelle Obama, actresses Meryl Streep and Elizabeth Banks, and former New York Mayor Michael Bloomberg. After being introduced by daughter Chelsea, Clinton utilized the DNC's final night to officially accept her party's nomination for the presidency, a historic achievement for women in the U.S., and then delineate aspects of her platform and national vision. In September 2016, the Arizona Republic made a surprising announcement. It was endorsing a Democrat for the first time in its publication history. The editorial board's decision to support Clinton was explained. The paper's unprecedented announcement came on the heels of the Cincinnati Enquirer and the Dallas Morning News' similar decision to break with their long-standing Republican roots by endorsing Clinton over Trump. As the returns rolled in, Clinton's path to victory faded. Late in the evening of her defeat became clear when Trump earned the required majority of electoral votes. Breaking with political tradition, she declined to give a concession speech when the race was called, but phoned ex-Apprentice host Donald Trump to concede. The following afternoon, Clinton delivered an emotional concession speech in which she congratulated Donald Trump and said that she offered to work with him on behalf of our country. As she continued, she acknowledged her painful defeat and encouraged the supporters to continue to participate in American democracy. Clinton also addressed falling short of becoming the first female president of the United States. Despite Trump winning the electoral votes, Clinton won the popular by almost 3 million more votes. Outside of Obama's 2008 presidential election victory, Clinton currently holds the record for winning the most votes than any other presidential candidate in U.S. history. So that concludes our video and documentary on the life of Hillary Clinton so far and everything that she has achieved. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.